Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're back on top of my parking garage again on my bar stool with the Mustang behind us. On a decent Dallas night. It's finally starting to cool down here. So we're gonna have a little bit of a chat and it's gonna be everything I've done to this car within the first 5,000 miles. So just to let you guys know, this is not gonna be in perfect order of everything that I did step by step. I kind of tackled this in like 3 different phases. First was the exterior, second was the interior, and then third was performance. But I'll go through everything because this car has definitely been through a lot in its first 5,000 miles. So starting with the exterior, and I'm going to talk through this. I'm going to talk through this stuff and kind of give you like a stream of consciousness on my thoughts and why I did everything that I did. And then hopefully that kind of helps you guys in terms of, you know, what you may want to do on your modifications for your Mustang. So driving home from the dealership, I actually ordered a few things just because I knew they're going to be my first immediate things I want to do with the car. So I guess to work front to back a little bit, the first thing that I think all S550s, but especially all S650 Mustangs need is more chin. They all just need more chin. The stock splitter, whether you have a GT, whether you have a GT performance pack or a non-performance pack, is too small. It just doesn't look good. You need more chin. So this is the MP concept. It's kind of a 2-stage splitter. I think it looks really good. I think it's one of the best looking ones on the market. Also, it's really cheap. So it was like 120 bucks from American Muscle. Installs very well. Comes with everything you need. Instructions are clear. I just really like it because it's not overpriced like all the RTR stuff. Like RTR, they'll charge like $500, $600, $700 for strips of molded plastic, and I think that's just far too much. I know they have a really cool brand name behind them, but generally I think RTR stuff A, doesn't look the best, and B, or is a little too expensive. So the next thing we did with the car was tint. This is always going to be a preference thing, whether you like tint or how dark of tint you like. I always go with 5%. Actually, I think on this one it's 2% all around, and then I have an eyebrow strip on the windshield. To each their own with tint. Living in Dallas, Texas, it gets so hot here. So I appreciate tint. It protects your interior a little bit, keeps it cooler throughout the summer. And then I also like the privacy. I enjoy being able to watch people without them seeing me look at them from inside my car. So after that, we did it's called the liquid vinyl wicker bill. So it actually bolts onto the stock performance pack spoiler. Installs pretty easily. I wish it came with a template because you do kind of have to like eyeball measure things where you're going to drill into the stock spoiler and actually insert the rivets, or I guess the riv nuts, so you can actually bolt the spoiler on or the wicker bill on. It looks really good, for sure. I just wish it actually came with instructions and at least a template, because that would have made life so much easier. But overall, it looks pretty good. I got it on relatively pretty even. So after that, what we did is we got ourselves a set of lowering springs and threw those on the car. I don't know what it is about Ford and Mustangs, but they all like to sit on stilts. I know why Ford can't get a stock stance correct. But from the factory, Mustangs have terrible fitments. The wheels look like they're sucked into the wheel wells. They need to be pushed out, and the car sits too high. So we got lowering springs. We're about 1.5 inches lowered in the front and then 1 inch in the back. And then also with those lowering springs, I got 1-inch spacers to push the wheels out. I think it just gives it a little bit more aggressive look. But I think that is one of the necessities that you need to do with your Mustang. They all just sit way too high and it looks terrible. It's such a cleaner look when you get them squatted a little bit better. So after that, another thing that I did with the car is side skirts. This came a little bit after, but I decided not to go with the RTR ones. I think those look really good, but again, they're just super expensive. So some of these, I'm forgetting the brand name off the top of my head. I actually made a video on them, kind of showing the install for them. They're really cheap. They're about 100 bucks for the set and free shipping. And shipping only took like 5 days. And they simply just bolt on with friction screws. They look really good. and I like how they're gloss black. One thing that I think Ford did really bad on the exterior of this car is the mismatch of the black plastics. Specifically, the plastic that's not dark black, that has like a grayish hue to it and a weird like line texture. Overall, I think that just doesn't look really good. I don't know why Ford went with this texture, and we're gonna get more into the 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 poor, I'm gonna say the poor color choices, shades of black that Ford used on the interior. But they whatever they did on the exterior, they took that mistake and then they doubled it on the interior. So it's probably hard to see right now, but on the back, we have a gloss black diffuser. I think it looks a lot better than the stock one. Really, I wanted it for the dual cutouts because my car does not have active exhaust, and I went with the MBRP race exhaust, which is another thing I did, which is catback, and then I needed a different diffuser for the quad exhaust tips. So that covers the rear diffuser and also the exhaust that I put on the car. And then also what I did is the LED side markers. I just bought like a relatively cheap full set for the car off eBay, probably around $50. It's kind of kind of a cheapo brand, but they look really good. They're nice LEDs, and they don't need to be an expensive part for a quality look. Because what I like to do is get rid of all the orange and red off the exterior of a car. So we got those LED side markers installed at all four corners. Then the last thing that we did was change out the taillights for a set of Euro lights. So these are like the clear white ones. I think they just look a lot better than red. I was kind of split between the tinted ones and the clear whites, but I kind of went with the clear whites. I had the tinted ones on my S550, so I want to do something that was a little bit different, so I went with those ones. And besides this red badge that you guys may not be able to see in the front end, that is everything that we've done with the exterior. Quick intermission. I'm going to take off my jacket because it is just too warm. Okay, now with the jacket off, let's do the interior of the car. So I know you guys have seen pictures and some video clips with the interior of the car. It certainly is very different than the average S650 Mustang, whether you have the all black interior or the cloth interior or one of the red leather color, one of the colored leather interiors for the cars. The reason that kind of sparked me to have a desire to change the interior so much is because Ford, I don't know why, but Ford made to me, a really poor color choice with the interior of the car. So you may just say like, hey, it's just black interior. Almost. It's almost black. It's like a diluted, faded, dulled down color of black, like a very dark gray. And I don't think it looks very good. When you go with a all jet black interior, you can get away with a lot of lower quality materials and textures. And I think it still looks good. It still looks handsome. Now with the new S650 interior updates, personally, I think it's a good looking interior. It's not quite as race car as the S550s were. It doesn't feel so much like a cockpit. It feels more of a luxury car, but I still like it. I think they did do a good job in interior design. Although to be fair, the doors are the exact same as the S550s, and so are the seats. The seats are the same as the S550s. Slightly different design, but they are the same. But like I was saying, if you go with a jet black interior, you can kind of quality down on the textures and materials of it, and it still looks good. It doesn't become such a problem. You can use hard touch rather than soft touch textures, and the materials, and it still just looks fine. But with Ford, with these new S650s, they dulled down the black. To me, it's just a very, very ugly shade of dark gray. I feel like if you're gonna go with gray, own it. If you're gonna go with black, own it with a jet black. Now you can kind of fix it by putting some interior dressings on the car, and it definitely kind of gives it more of a shine, a little bit darker of a hue. But overall, I think it just does not look good. I think this was such a mistake. Because of all that, that's why I decided to do a lot with the interior. So I guess working from windshield back inside the car, I suede wrapped the A-pillars, and it actually looks really good. What I got from Amazon, it's extremely malleable, it's very stretchy, and it's actually very adhesive. I didn't have to use like adhesive improver or spray to get it to stick and stay very well. So suede wrap the A pillars in red, suede wrap the B and the C pillars in red. Also applied the red suede to a few other pieces inside the interior, namely the center console lid, the what used to be on the 24 models, the charging pad. Now it's just a storage pad that's underneath the center console. The knee pads, and then I used black suede for the center console, which I think was my second video I did. But after that, also what I did is stitched on a new suede steering wheel cover. I do think the S650 steering wheels, those are actually really good, but I prefer suede over leather in terms of my steering wheel. So stitched on um, a black suede with the red center stripe on top of the steering wheel. Stitched that on. That took about 6 hours, but I think it was pretty well worth it. And then, of course, with the seats, those have a red leather seat skin. I did also put some carbon fiber pieces, fake carbon fiber. I did put some carbon fiber pieces on the interior just to cover up some of the chrome plastic. Fake carbon fiber. I've seen real carbon fiber kits online for like $500 or $600. I think that's crazy because fake carbon fiber looks 99% as good for 2% of the price. So for those of you who actually do real carbon fiber, no hate, like definitely a lot of respect for that, but good God, that stuff's expensive. And then I guess really lastly, to cover the interior are the red floor mats. Super easy, super simple. Just bought some custom ones for the 2025 Mustang GT. Pulled out the old ones, threw in the new ones. Bada bing, bada boom. Interior was done. Now, there are a few more things I want to do with the interior. Mainly the doors. The doors are still all factory in terms of the chrome and the really cruddy, less than jet black color that Ford used, which I still don't know why they did that, but whatever. But there's still a few things I want to do with the door interior. I'll show you guys that in a later video. But for now, I would call the interior probably about 85 to 90% done. And now to get on to the performance stuff that we've done with the car. So this is where things get really fun. So the first mod I did really, and I already kind of covered it a little bit, did a MBRP race armor light catback exhaust system with the black tips. I'm a big fan of their exhausts. I think they sound really good. They install perfectly. And they can be like half or even a third of the price as some of the better name brands like Corsa or Borla. I've heard Corsa and Borla exhausts in real life. I would say their sound does have an edge in quality over the MBRP exhausts, but they're just so incredibly expensive. For MBRP exhausts, the entire catback system, usually around $950 to $1,000. It's such a better price than the $2,000 or $3,000 or even $3,000 plus that you can spend with Borla. I think those exhaust systems are certainly worth it to the right people, but overall, you're going to get 95 to 98% of the sound for 50% or less of the cost with the MBRP systems. So I've always been a big fan of those. I had them on my S550. Actually, the exact same exhaust on my S550. They did kind of retune the noise and the volume and the tone of it a little bit. I think it's a little bit better on the S650s, but overall, it's a pretty kind of copy paste part that I used to have in my S550 now in the new S650. So another thing I did was a short throw shifter. I went with the MGW, and I want to get this right because every time I see videos of people reviewing MGW shifters on YouTube, they never tell you what spec they get. So there's, just to give you guys a quick little overview of it, there's the race spec and then there's the X spec. And within the race and the X spec, there's a long shifter and a short shifter. Like the linkage is either long or short. So if you want to step down in terms of longest throw for an MGW short throw shifter to the shortest one, it goes race spec long, race spec short, X spec long, X spec short. So the one I have is the race long version. Now, The race long version is the longest of throws for the MGW shifters, but it's still, one, for sure, a lot shorter than stock. In terms of actually the height it sits up on the interior of the car, it's probably dropped down probably about half an inch or so. The throws are actually a little bit shorter. One, it cleans up the throws very well. Two, it helps ameliorate problems like the second or third gear lockout, which is pretty infamous with these MT82 transmissions. Three, it protects the synchros, especially on a more powerful setup that we are right now going, now that we're whippled. So that's the reason I went with the MGW shifter. I also installed a look-alike GT350 shift knob on the shifter. I actually cut the leather off and then rewrapped it in the black suede. So I think it looks pretty good. But MGW shifter, definitely a very worthwhile upgrade. I guess it may be hard to compare because I've never actually used one of like the shorter ones, like the X specs, especially like an X spec short. But the throws are definitely shorter than stock, but it doesn't totally make it feel like a different transmission. It's still an MT82. It just cleans up a lot of the slop, fixes the lockout issue, and overall just kind of changes the experience of shifting for the better. I've heard some people say that they get too notchy. Mine over time is broken in very well, where it doesn't feel muddy when you're going through the gates. And B, it still feels like the really slick shifting gates that MT82s have if you're not like banging on it. If you're ripping through gears racing, it definitely feels a lot smoother than the sloppiness of the stock shifter. And also too, it feels a lot safer. So like banging gears, it gives you a little bit more confidence because with the stock shifter, it to me, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it literally feels like it's gonna break. To get the engine stuff, this is where the real meat and potatoes of this car is. We have a stage 2 Whipple kit. Certainly have a lot more to come. I want to do a lot more driving videos, a lot more racing videos for you guys, but we have the stage 2 Whipple kit. We also have stainless power headers. One thing with those, I did get the catted version, which I'm liking so far. I am popping the dreaded PO430 code. So I actually just ordered yesterday. So yesterday I actually just ordered some cat defowlers. They're like 40 bucks. So I'm going to throw those in and that'll fix the P0430 code from popping. So I shouldn't see that anymore. But I did go with the catted version for the stainless power long tubes. I just really didn't want to smell like fuel every time I drove the car. And then also we have a 3.625 pulley. So the stage 2 Whipple kit, it comes with a 3.75. I pulley this down about 1 more pound of boost to 3.625. And then the last thing that we have on this is we're running an E30 blend. And this is all done with the Rob Shoemaker tune. Definitely a lot more content coming for you guys on everything engine for this car. But that pretty much covers it for this car's first 5,000 miles. So a couple things I want to do that I'm aiming for this weekend, which if you guys are seeing this video, it's going to be the last weekend, is when I got the lowering springs installed, the suspension has just been very noisy. It's been a little creaky, a little clunky. So I'm going to take it to, I don't want to say a better shop, but a different shop that I know is better at suspension stuff to get that ironed out just so it's not so noisy anymore. And then, like I said, with the cat defowlers, I'm going to throw those on as soon as I get them, just so I don't get that annoying, pesky P0430 code anymore. But really, that about covers it for this car. The way it sits right now, I'm super happy with it. Now, it's always easy to chase more parts, different looks, different vibes with the car, change things up, do things differently. But the way it sits right now, I'm very happy with it. There's a couple last pieces with the interior that I want to do, which I'll take you guys through in another video. But other than that, as far as performance, I think it's really good. I don't think it really makes sense for me to start seeking more power. One, it's plenty powerful enough. Two, my biggest issue right now is traction. So when I burn these tires up, which to be honest, I think I still have a good bit of time on these Pirelli P0s. They're not my favorite tire by any means, but the stock wheels are just too small. I think they're 9-inch fronts and 10-inch rears. I'm going to go with 10-inch fronts and 11-inch rears. I already think I have my wheels picked out on LMR, but that's probably going to be the next big upgrade for it. And then, because I still want to stick to a street setup instead of going to like, drag pack or anything, because like I've said before, I do daily drive this car. So I wanted relatively docile in poor weather conditions, and really poor weather conditions for Dallas really is just some rain. But that's going to be the next biggest upgrade for the car is just working on getting better traction. After that, and I get a much better tire on it, because like I said, P0s to me, they suck. Then I think we can probably start chasing a little bit more power. Maybe going down to a 3.5 pulley. I think that's about as far as you can go without really without really running out of fuel. Maybe one day we'll do like a triple pump return style fuel system, and then go with any pulley that we want to do on fully E85. But I don't know, the way it sits right now, it's plenty powerful. And these Coyotes, the Gen 4s, they are strong, but they're not invincible. And I want it to last relatively long. I mean, I told myself if I get 100,000 miles out of this engine, which may be asking a lot running on a Stage 2 Whipple kit, but I think that's probably reasonable. I don't launch the car daily or anything. I try to be relatively gentle with the power. I'm not banging shifts unless I'm doing actual like roll racing in Mexico. So yeah, so I think that kind of covers everything for this car. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. I'm so happy to have you guys here. I'm not going to ask you guys to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you guys to like or comment. I want you to do that on your own volition. If you guys feel like you're getting value from my videos, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. But if you're new here, like I am on YouTube, it's only been 2 or 3 months. I just want you guys to enjoy the content. And if that's what you guys are doing, then that makes me happy. And to me, that's mission accomplished. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. And one last thing for you guys, specifically my gentlemen out there. You know that voice in the back of your head that says, I'm not good enough? It's a voice that I have. I know I'm not alone in this. If you guys don't feel that, amazing, perfect, you can end the video here. But for my gentlemen that do, you have that voice, whether that feels like it's for your partner, for your car, for your life, for your job, whatever it is that's telling you that you're not good enough, I want you to tell it that's wrong. It's not correct. It is an invasive, intrusive voice that does not belong with you. And I know it's hard to fight, but I want to let you guys know it's something I struggle with too, and you guys are not alone. Just remember, it's false. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate that. I'll catch you guys in the next video. What was that?